everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. Here. The lion. New music. So funny. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo. That's Let's Talk Football. And you know what day it is? Finally, the day has come. And I'm not by myself. You see my guy right here who's been waiting for this day with me, Mr. Will Kramer. What up, Will?
Oh, man. It's 22. It's finally here. We've been waiting. We've been pushing this off. We've been the WFT for so long, and we have a name. It's over. The speculation's over. The concerns are over. We may not be the happiest, but it's over. We know who we are.
Yes. Yo, I am excited. I know you're excited.
Yeah.
We were all up very early this morning looking to see what the reveal would be with the name. And you see the background. Well, I mean, not to get too far into it, we do got a couple things we can do real quick, but I'm okay.
Yeah? You feeling good with it?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the Redskins, obviously.
Right.
TTR. But we're here. Just make the best of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, so I got a story for you about like getting ready for this. So normally I take my son into daycare. Right now, Trish is on maternity leave. But on Wednesdays, we have an 8:30 a.m. staff meeting. So there's not enough time for me to get back to the house. So she takes him this morning. Well, I read where the media had said, be available around 8 a.m. That's about when they're going to start coming to us. And so they leave at 8. We leave at 8 a.m. to get downtown to drop them off at daycare. And I was kind of like, I was getting them out of the house. Like, let's go. I got to run in there, turn the Today Show on. Have a great day. But I was like, and of course I had it recorded, so if I needed to, I'd go back. But, just the anticipation of like seeing it live. We knew the name. We knew it was going to be Commanders. It leaked last night. There was no surprise there. But just to be a part of it, like, it's a big deal. This is it's a huge part of our childhood growing up, or our adulthood at this point, and so it's like there's just a lot of excitement. Whether we were going to see what we wanted to see or not, it was exciting to have the finality.
Right. And as you see, ladies and gentlemen, on the background, you see what the black jerseys look like. The name is Commanders. We will get into that. Want to shout out the people watching. They be saying, finally, yes, we're back. Yay. They messed up the process. Oh, they messed it up. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about Nathan, a resident Ravens fan in the building. What up, Nate? What up, buddy? Yo, so we are going to get into it, but very quickly, I do want to shout out some people right quick. First and foremost, I want to say happy birthday to my guy, the first guy that I met when I moved to Herndon, J.R. Blandon. Played football with me. I lived next door to Jen Allen, who was his girlfriend at that time. He was the one that kind of introduced me to like Duriel and Cogler, some of those guys on the football team. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to wish you a happy birthday, man. I know you're doing big things, man. And hey, shout out to you, my friend. No doubt.
Awesome.
No doubt about it. Fellow Herndon alum for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then also something that, I could not have planned it any better. My guy, one of the other guys that I knew coming up through high school, one of my best friends, Will, you know this guy very well.
Yep.
Our guy, Kyle Hager, congratulations. Him and his wife had their newborn baby girl today. We're still waiting on the name. I'm gonna hit him up after, but hey, from Washington Football Weekly, from myself, yo, congrats, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, congrats, Kyle and Sophia. I mean, that's amazing. I can tell you right now, it might not show up on this screen, but every night I got spit up on my right shoulder, and so every shirt I got has to get washed every day. You can't get two wears out of it anymore. But it's you guys are gonna find out. Parenthood is a wonderful ride. So you guys are gonna love it. Blessed to you all. Hope everything goes so well today. The next couple of days in the hospital, and then when you're back at home and enjoying your new life as a family. That's awesome.
Yes, I absolutely love it. I am so excited. And one of the first things that Kyle said, he was like, we know what it is. It's a girl. He said, so you're gonna have to come with me, be on the porch when she gets of age. It's kind of be like, so, who are you?
Yeah.
My niece? Okay. Let me talk to you for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta get protected.
Definitely. So shout out to you. Shout out to the both of you. You finally, hey, Kyle, welcome to fatherhood. Will, we know, has his too. Those of you that don't know, I have a son. He is at Belmont University right now, 19 years old, doing music. Oh yeah, I gotta show you. He got a couple albums out, man. Does a little spoken word and Christian rap and music and all that stuff, which you know me, Will. That is right off the father's tree,
Yes.
My father always said, he said, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I was like, no, Pop, it's not going to be that way. And what did I do? Followed right into his act of journalism and video. And what is my son doing? Exactly what I was doing. So,
oh yeah.
You're next. Those sons are going to be just like you.
Oh, man.
Trying to get skin stuff. right.
Something arrived tonight.
Let's go. Yes, yo. So we have got to go ahead and move on. We know why all of you are here. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day 2/2/22. Happy Groundhog Day as well. If that wasn't crazy to the New Jersey, you hear about that? The New Jersey groundhog died the day before Groundhog Day. Yeah.
Oh,
no. He said, I'm not doing this anymore. Definitely go back and watch Punxsutawney Phil and Groundhog Day. One of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
But this day is here. We're so glad it's here. The anticipation is over. Like Will said, he was, early this morning. We were all around our TVs, on the phones, texting each other. Did you see it? Did you know what it is? We did kind of know because, Theismann had the interview and there is a lot of reports on Twitter and all this stuff. So we knew what it was. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. The Washington Commanders. Will, what was your initial reaction, man?
So I'm gonna go. I'll give you my positives. Then I'll let you talk. Then I'll give you some of the negatives that I thought of it. But I'll say this: they let us down a couple weeks ago to let us know that it wasn't going to be Wolves, and so we knew what we were kind of getting into, and it just seemed natural that Commanders would be next. We kind of had an idea. I think they hit a home run with this name of the franchise. I think Commanders fits the DMV so well.
Yes.
If you look at what is the DMV, what brings people to this area, because it's a mix of people from all over the place. It's the government, it's politics, it's the military, whether it's the armed forces or the contractors or working in the intelligence. It's with the symbolism that we have between our monuments, the Capitol, the White House, the Pentagon, Langley, the forts. It's also the symbolism. If you look around Tyson's Corner, Reston, you want to know how they got built? Go look at buildings that have the American flag flying right in front of them. Those folks, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, they're defense contractors. Everything is tied together to the government, in this area. And that, government leading decisions, it comes back to Commanders. And so I think from a standpoint of if you wanted to capture what is DMV, they did. Let's think about the other teams that are similar. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the San Francisco 49ers, the Green Bay Packers. It goes to the history of the area.
Yeah.
And so I think from that standpoint, when they said this was our mission, this was our goal, they nailed it.
Yeah.
I love the burgundy jerseys. I really felt like they freshened them up. When Martin Mayhew opened it in that preview they gave, and he said, "Wow, this is clean." He was right. They look good, you know. And then finally, for me, what I really liked was no more numbers on the helmets. It drove me nuts. Not having a stripe down the helmet, it drove me nuts. I couldn't take it anymore. So those were my positives. I'll let you go, and then I've got some things that need some improvement.
Right. Okay, good. All right. So I'll leave my negatives for later too. Positives is like we've been talking about, we're here. We are finally here. I'm glad that we're no longer in question of what the name is. You know, we kind of got to the place where we were okay with football team, but at the end of the day, we wanted something permanent. And like you said, Commanders ties into everything in the DC area, in the DMV. It really kind of brings it all together and brings it home. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. One of the first things I saw the hashtag of HTCC, which was interesting. But then I saw the other hashtag that said take command. We can use that. We can use that anywhere. We're commanding this division. We're commanding this conference. We're commanding the league. We can use that and go with it. So I like that. I like that. As far as the burgundy jersey, yes, I do like that. I like the burgundy jersey. I mean, especially because, you know, the first shot I had was on McLaurin, and I was like, okay, this works. This absolutely works. And then I'm gonna go to you on the other side of reaction because we
got some work to do.
We do. We absolutely do. So. What's your negative views of this?
Well, and Jason Wright, I know you watch the show. Please turn up the volume, okay? I'm going to give you some advice here that's going to help some things. So what I didn't like, first from it, the W.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar to what they had with Washington football team. I didn't like that one, and I don't like this. You could sort of tell, and because that did leak, you know, about a couple weeks ago, that it appeared to have some military symbolism behind it. It kind of looked like sleek, like steel. Like I started thinking of like an armor look to it that you may see in tanks and helicopters and planes and stuff. And they have admitted that it's supposed to be slanted for some military rankings and honors, which I'm not very versed in. But I don't like it. It kind of just is jumbled together. And I was really looking at this as like, I don't care what they name, what the nickname is, Commanders, Armada, Brigade. 10 years from now, it's going to be nothing to us. Commanders is going to be second nature. But the Washington part and the W is going to be what's the big change as well from Redskins. And I thought of like two colleges that have really nice looking W's on their helmets and in their logos is Wisconsin Badgers and Washington Huskies. Yeah. And I was looking for something like that where you can look and say, that looks sweet. That's a nice looking W. You can put that on the breastplate of your shirt or your hat, and it's going to look good. And ours looks clunky. It looks heavy, you know. So I don't like, and some of it needs to be outlined a little bit, you know. And some of the jersey stuff, it's just a solid yellow W or gold W. It needs some outlines to like make it pop. So that I didn't like that. The white jersey with the red lettering on it. Maybe it's the camera angles, the pictures. I can't imagine that they didn't have the same burgundy color from the home jerseys to the away, but it looks very red. And I don't like the transitioning that it's making to black in the home jersey or the away jersey that Chase was wearing. I think they need to be more burgundy and gold. And fans have come up with mocks that improved it. And like, y'all need to do this. Right. They look better. They look solid. They look great. And then the black jersey, like I think we were so excited for that. And they just look like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like we got black, we got yellow, and you know, and that's what we got. And it's just weird just seeing the W on like the forehead of the helmet and it's just, so that was a disappointment. That was a major letdown. The other thing I thought was kind of really surprising, that crest that they made, the patch, they put the years that we won the Super Bowl, not the seasons. So they put 1992 on it because we won it in 92, but it was the 91 season. You know, you don't refer to them as the 86 Bears that won the Super Bowl. It's the 85 Bears with their defense. So I don't understand what that is. And then the last one is I don't know how you shorten Commanders right now. You've got the Nats, you've got the Caps, and people are having a field day with it because they're like, cool, you went from Redskins to Commies. Now you offend us still. Like, so they got some work to do to kind of let us know where we're going from here. The good thing I will say about all these things that I'm critiquing, they're all fixable.
Right.
You know, Commanders isn't going anywhere, but you can change the lettering. Uniforms change every couple of years. You know, they could alter the crest now that they find out people are saying, yo, what are you doing? So all of it's fixable if they're willing to. What did you see? I bet it's a lot of the same.
Yeah, if they're willing to is that's on point. Honestly, yes. I mean, I talked to you about it in the group chat earlier this morning. I think the jerseys, the white jerseys with the red, I think we're the new Arizona Cardinals. Oh, wait, we already have the Arizona Cardinals. And then this one that's in the background, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's like burgundy and gold is kind of what brings us together. I mean, we talk about Washington and Redskins and the combination, but even with the football team, it was still burgundy and gold. That's what brings us all in here. And so to leave that out and kind of make these jerseys so similar to other teams, and like you said, that little W right there, I don't know, it just seems like with all, I kind of echo the sentiments of a lot of people that said with all this time that you had, and you have these people we talked about that were doing mock-ups like the day of that are so much better, it's like, it does appear lazy. I cannot go away from that because that first jersey we have, I love it. I think that is great. It kind of keeps the line while with what we have, it still keeps the Commanders part of it. But these other two are really kind of like, wow, like I really think of other teams. Like even the red one made me think of like maybe, I don't know, I don't think Arkansas has it, but maybe a college team that has more of that. Well, one of my buddies from the other show, Sydney, said it looks like the Arizona State, their white jerseys. And it's kind of like, we could have done better than this, guys. Like all this money, all this time, we really should have done better, especially with the fan base that we have. It's so hungry for something that we can just jump onto. I mean, you know what I mean? It's already past the fact that we can't howl, and it's not the Red Wolves, and that's fine if you don't want to do that. But the Commanders, I can get with Commanders, but all this extra, come on, guys. The reveal was interesting to me. Obviously, my guy Doug Williams was there with Jonathan Allen and Jason Wright, and I just thought that the reveal was kind of anticlimactic, maybe, because we had so much else that they had brought out. Obviously, we knew it was all leaked. We kind of knew what it was. You and I have talked about it way back and forth in the season. That was one of those where we're like, compared to the other ones, we can live with this. Commanders is okay, that's fine. But it was just weird, just the way that they were sitting down on the field. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe I don't know if you got this, but I kind of got this feel like Doug Williams was like, well, I'm gonna sit up here because y'all have me up here, but I'm a Super Bowl MVP for the Redskins. You know what I mean? And at one point, they were saying, what do you feel? And he was like, hey, he put his hand over Jonathan Allen. It was like, we're the Commanders, And it was just like kind of like he was trying to deflect because to me, it seemed like he wasn't really relating or diving into that. So that to me was really interesting. But then at the end of the day, we are where we are. I'm mad that it took this long to produce something that I felt like could have put a little bit more effort into. But, I all in all, let's move forward, Yeah.
Well, you said it perfectly. In the 2 years that they've been working on this, and they've been talking about how much they've been working on it, we anticipated the reveal being a lot more buttoned up, you know.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
of it kind of seemed like they were just sort of winging it, you know, a
Yeah.
little bit up there. If you saw like the press conference I think they had, you know, you could hear Julie, the MC, talking to them, telling them where to go, you know, and the Snyder sitting there taking pictures by it was just awkward. Like,
It does.
y'all got to recognize what Dan's strengths are, and being out in the public is not his strength, and he knows that. So he just wants to say his little bit and let him go sit down in the front row and watch everything. Don't parade him out here like other charismatic owners can, because that's not Snyder, you know. And so like it's like you got to know your people. And
Look,
you're right. I mean,
different to you. I mean, no glasses and the kind of the beard.
oh yeah, he's made a transformation this year. It's kind of interesting. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think you're right about Doug Williams, and I think he's still employed by the team. And I was watching that too, and it's like Doug Williams, he's a company man.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to say what he's not going to ruffle any feathers because he's still with the team and doing things. But right, you know, it's like you could kind of see he's like, you all are the Commanders.
Not my team.
Right.
You know? Hey, shout out to the catch, man. I would have been fine with Washington football team too. At this particular point, I mean, we can say in the first year of Washington football team, we swept Dallas. I can run with that. I would have been fine. But for them to put out this, it's like we've been saying, it's like y'all could have come up with something better, because at least with the Washington football team, we kind of kept it the same color scheme. And that's where I'm coming from. I
got tired of the jokes of the football team, so I'm glad we have a nickname. But no, I really anticipated the jerseys to be like, especially when they did the reveal and said, all these are fresh. I thought all three of them were going to look sweet, and they're disappointing.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: you sent me on the little Twitter thing of the hype video. Were you surprised that they sang the "Hail to the Redskins" in there?
So yes, so I've got like a little segment I was going to say moving forward a little bit about it, but yes, so I was very surprised. This is the first time since we got rid of the name they've sung "Hail to the Redskins." They've said the word Redskins. They've allowed for more imagery of not just fans hiding things, but players of the goalposts that said Redskins. Like they recognized it. But I will say this: I was listening to Jason talk during the press conference, and he kept saying the old logo, that when we were the old, the other name or our previous name, and that still bothers me, because I think now that we're here, we are the Commanders moving forward, but we are the Redskins looking back. And I don't like in the crest where they talk about, and I hate it in the Washington football team established in 1932, because I'm like, your Commanders is something new. It's like the Houston Texans and the Houston Oilers. They're two separate things. And I think we need to acknowledge it. Like, I want the team to recognize, if Joe Jacoby gets into the Hall of Fame or Brian Mitchell gets in the Hall of Fame in the next couple of years, they should not be nominated and introduced as a Washington Commander, because they didn't play for them. And there's already jerseys up. They've got John Riggins and Sean Taylor's jerseys up with the new Commanders stuff. They didn't play for them. You cannot bridge this. It needs to be a clean break, and you're moving forward. And as a result of it, when you're going to talk about some of these guys, it's okay to say the name Redskins, in my opinion. You're being factual. It's like when we talk about Robert E. Lee was the leader of the Confederate Army.
Factual.
Right. You're keeping it to that. You're not putting opinions, not talking about what else is about it. But like players, the 1991 team is the Redskins. You can say that, and you can say we are the Commanders now. That's okay.
Right.
Now there was one thing. Yeah, those are beautiful. Those are beautiful.
You know what it is. Come on now.
Now this is going to brighten your day. Okay. So Jason Wright went on a couple different interviews afterwards, and he said, like, this is just the start. We're going to do a couple extra things. And he said in his press conference, and he elaborated on it a few other times, was that he goes, some of the next things we're going to do is we're going to start looking into the fight song. And he said, one of the things we saw with Commanders is it fits with some of the current lyrics. And so they asked him, so are you talking about rewriting the fight song or redoing it or doing something new? And he once again said, he said, well, there's lyrics in the fight song that we can use. Hail Victory and Fight for Old DC. He goes, we can use that stuff. So they said, are you going to rewrite it? Or would you say you're doing something new? He's like, I think we're rewriting it. So I'm going to tell you this, Sean. I don't care if the name's Commanders.
Yeah.
If I get a chance to sing with my sons of Washington, rah, rah, rah. I just got goosebumps right now. I'm good with Commanders. I don't care. They already came out and changed the hashtag to HTTC.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we as dorky 30-some-year-old fans say, like, I need the fight song. I need the hashtag. I need this stuff. This is going to bring. If we are singing Hail to the Commanders and you change the lyrics I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm with it. I still may not buy your hat.
No.
I may not like your W, but I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely, because you have to. There has to be the connection. That's one of the reasons why burgundy and gold is so needed, because that is the connection. We have been named we are the burgundy and gold. That is what we represent. So that's why I kind of had an issue with some of the jerseys and things like that. But hearing that, yes, that definitely brings joy. To my heart, because we needed some kind of connection and some kind of something that's going to bring us back to that for us older fans. Because look, somebody was telling me the other day, in 10, 15 years, yes, we might, it might not be as fresh of a memory as the Redskins is to us right now. But at the same time, people like yourself and myself who are still buying Washington stuff, we need that connection, because, and let's be honest, unless they win a championship anytime soon, that was the glory years. Yeah. That's when we have the joy, and that's what we can relate to. The jersey, Doug Williams jersey I have, these Redskins shoes, that is a relation to the past. It's nothing negative toward, said community and this and that. It is our connection to the past, and we want to bring that connection into this team. If this Commanders, that's fine. But I love this fact that they're trying to bring that back. The Catch said, I agree with the fight song staying the same. Will be a huge for Washington fans outside the team name. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't believe they said it. I loved hearing that. That's a dream come true. That's what I was hoping for. That you would say, let's rebrand them, but let's keep some of the stuff. Yeah, it kind of sounds like, everyone's kind of on the same page in this. A couple things saying, people thought it was going to be red something and but they really thought they were going to keep their red out. And I think that's true. I think they wanted the clean break, and which is why we're not Warriors, which is why we're not Renegades, Commanders. It is the safest of some of the options. But again, like, we've said, it fits, it makes sense.
It does.
I think I'll tell you this, if Ted Leonsis had done this and renamed the Wizards to Commanders and even had it red, white, and blue, I bet more people would be down with it.
Right.
I think it's just the fact that it's the Redskins that has, we're very critical of this. That is our football team. But I'm telling you, if the Bullets Wizards had renamed to Commanders, I bet people would be like, all right, yeah, makes sense.
I can rock with that. Right.
Right, exactly.
There is that connection. Hold up, Nathan. So when we had Portis, McNabb, Moss, Taylor, those weren't good years. Those weren't Joe Theismann and the Fun Bunch, Doug Williams and Mark Rippon in the Posse years where we're winning Super Bowls. That's what we're talking about.
They were a lot of this, Nathan. I think this is where it's like 2005 was great, 2007 was great, 04, 06, terrible. That type of stuff. And Donovan McNabb as a Redskin.
Yeah,
that's one of those funny jerseys you get. Just like buy a McNabb jersey and because you got Tress Way, that you could put on there. You pay $5 for the McNabb jersey.
Right. But that's what it is. Catch that growing up is going to Washington games. That fight song is one of the earliest football memories. Absolutely.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah.
That's
as silly as it is for like us, as grown men to be saying like a pro football team, we're so attached to a Python. But I would also say, tell me, Notre Dame Fighting Irish fans, if you had to remove that your song, or Michigan, if you had to redo that, Michigan fans, if you don't play Hail to the Victors, the only person in the world that's going to be happy that is Kat. Yeah. She would be having a field day of it, but they would be destroyed, know. So like that's that type of mentality.
Right, and that's the type of things we got to think about. But look, we know what it is. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Appreciate you guys watching us, Nathan and the Catch. Hey, we love that.
I love that guy. Cool.
Those were some good. Yeah. Those were nice years. Yeah. But we're talking about
consistency.
Yes, because that from
champions
from 82 to 91 season, because in 92 we got to the playoffs, we got to the divisional round. From that 10-year span, we were almost untouchable. And there was some great teams that we went up against. Those Giants, those Bears, the 49ers, a lot of great teams, the Eagles in the late 80s that we went up against, and we always Washington fight, Farol, DC, crushing them, doing what we had to do. So yeah, not that those later years weren't great, but there's something about you, and this, Nathan, with the Ravens. There's something about getting a Super Bowl as opposed to, hey, we had a great season and made it to the second round of the playoffs. You don't remember those as much as you do the heyday.
It's why Joe Gibbs is the greatest football coach in NFL history. And as outstanding as Belichick is, Joe Gibbs did it with 3 different starting quarterbacks, and none of them before or after were really he was able to put together guys who fit his system and weren't these tremendously, they weren't Tom Brady, but that type of stuff. Is Theismann in the Hall of Fame? I hate that I had to ask that. I don't know. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Oh man,
he had a short career,
right? Because he was 5, but he was around. He was drafted in 72 by Miami, and then he went to but you know what? He was drafted in 72 by Miami, and he would have been the backup. He ended up going to, I believe, Canada and playing a few years, and then he came back in the late 70s. But George Allen was there, and George Allen didn't want to play. He liked his old guys. He didn't like to play young guys, so he made him like a punt returner or something like that. So most of his success for us came, when Gibbs got there.
I just looked it up. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Really?
So yeah. So Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 quarterbacks that not in the Hall of Fame, not in discussion.
Wow.
They ain't Eli Manning here, where you had a lot of numbers and and 2 Super Bowls, but you're not that good of a quarterback. That's what So that's the type of success we're looking for. Come on, wow. Ron. Let's see this. I want to see division title after division title. Make us the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
Come on.
Right. Make us the Commanders. All right. Let us.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Yo. So we are going to go ahead and move on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. Hey, and as we've talked about all year, we were so excited, some of the players we had around this time last year. We really started diving into this, figuring out who we were picking up, who we were getting. And, Will, we're going to dive right into the free agent grades from a year ago. We got a bunch of free agents. I'm going to name them really quickly, and then we'll go through them one by one. Ryan Fitzpatrick, punk. Sorry. Look, you know how much I was jumping on his bandwagon. William Jackson, Curtis Samuel. We made a trade for Eric Flowers, and we got Charles Leno. And I'll start with Fitzpatrick. We joke about incomplete being a scorer, but how can I, he was hurt in the first half of the first game of the season and didn't play the rest of the year. You know what I mean? I can't really say I give him any kind of a grade. He really, I was on here a year ago, sitting here, let's go. I want the Magic. Give me 7 or 8 games of the Magic. I'm ready. I touted him all off season, going into the preseason. But again, even in the preseason, the few games we did see, he wasn't knocking lights out. Like he wasn't, dominating these games, these preseason games. Mind you, he might have only got a series here or a couple series here, but towards the end of those preseason, he was getting full halves, and we still weren't doing that much. You know what I mean? What grade did you get, Fitz?
I mean, I feel bad, like you said. I mean, I'm going to give him an F because he got $10 million and played like 16 snaps. You know, like, come on. But like you said, I mean, that part, you can't fault him for that. But no, you're right. I mean, I thought the offense would click more, but even in that Chargers game, they were struggling. You know, the offense was in it. It is week one and stuff, but it just, things didn't seem to come together. So yeah, I mean, I gave him an F.
You have to.
It has to be. Yeah.
You absolutely have to. Well, I'm going to come to you on this next one. We got him. He used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals. William Jackson III at corner. What do you think about him?
I'm grading him a D.
Mm-hmm.
And this one really bothers me because I was so excited for him, and I thought he'd be this shutdown corner that, you know, opposite Kendall Fuller, and you know, he had a pick in week one, which was him diving, you know, and then he only had one other one the rest of the season. I do think they struggled to mesh with what he does well versus what they're looking for. You know, they say he's a man coverage, and we asked him to do a lot of zone, and I don't understand why we would do that. And so part of me doesn't want to fault him, but bottom line, he got burnt so much this season. He really didn't perform well. So if I'm going by the contract, by your performance, he was a D this year.
He has to be. Shout out to Janae Struther, who commands your team.
I was hoping you weren't going to give her this.
In order to be commander, you need someone who commands. Don't start.
Janae, just wait. We got a little segment coming on. You just wait to see who might be coming to Washington.
There you go.
Because you might be eating them words.
Right. Honestly, with William Jackson, there was so much hype. We hyped him. We felt like he was going to be that size, a bigger corner, you know, having him on one side and, you know, and the guy, a rookie that ended up showing out that we're going to talk about a little later, him on the other side, we felt like we can really hold it, like shut down the outside. But, got hurt for a little bit. But when he was in there, it just wasn't anything to write home about. And honestly, I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed in his performance. I know we all expected more, and with what we paid, he should have got more. So I got to go D- on this, and the reason I'm going to go D- because he did get a couple interceptions, and he did have times where he looked decent, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't, we could not rely on him, and he was not the lockdown threat that we hoped for. So, for the money we paid and for the hype that was given, you gotta provide more than just that.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the next one, another incomplete or F, Mr. Curtis Samuel. You got to show the best ability is availability. If you're not on the field, if you can't show up, how can I grade you? You know what I mean? We had another one that we had hyped, and this is a theme you talked about earlier, that we made big moves, big splashy moves to get some of these guys, and a lot of them, this was a current theme, got hurt, weren't able to play. Samuel, he was supposed to be our number 2. You know what I mean? And I believe he directly affected the growth of some of the other guys we're going to talk about. Humphreys is another one that we're not really going to bring up as much, but when you bring in a guy like Samuel to play with a McLaurin, he was supposed to take some of the heat off of McLaurin. And not on the field, you can't do that. When he is on the field, I remember what one game he came in and did decent and looked like, okay, we're going to put him back in the fold, and then he immediately gets hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
I can't rely on that. I can't rely on that. So we'll see how it goes forward. But Will, what do you think about Curtis Samuel?
Yeah, I mean, again, same thing. Contract expectations, performance this year, it was an F. He didn't live up, and I fault the team a little bit though too for it's like we kept trying to string him along instead of shutting him down, putting him on IR, and then bringing him back. But I love this question from Nate because I don't think you trade him because I hate saying this, but I think he's going to take J.D. McKissick's role next year. McKissick is a free agent, and I don't think there's enough ball for all of them. Because Gibson's going to get a larger role, and I don't think that I think McKissick's going to have a market out there for him, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think McKissick and Samuel do the same thing, and whether it's doing stuff in the backfield or just running routes as a slot, he's gonna we need him next year.
Yeah, I can see I can see Curtis Samuel playing in that McKissick role, almost like using him almost like a Debo Samuel, or we run him out on the edge and then he comes back in the backfield and takes a pitch,
yes.
or to get him more touches and get him. But again, you got to be healthy.
Yeah,
you got to be healthy. Yeah, I agree with you. Don't trade him. Let's see what we can get out of him. Coming to you next, we went and traded for this guy, Eric Flowers. What do you think about that?
This dude is made to play for Washington. It was an absolute steal. This is the only place he's good.
Yeah.
I think we traded a 6th-round pick, and Miami paid half of his $10 million to just get him out the door. It was an A. Like that's again like my concern right now with this front office is we're good at these low-level decisions. These Eric Flowers, the next guy we're going to talk about at left tackle, the year before getting McKissick and Logan Thomas. Like, they hit home runs on these lesser-known guys, and then we just completely botched our big signings. So yeah, that was awesome. Hey.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you on this. And moving on, just a couple of these two, Charles Leno that we got from the Bears. I agree on both of them, because the funny thing about it is, for all the issues that we all know and address throughout the season, O-line, with all the many people that we had to put in, they showed up and they showed out for most of the year. I mean, there's a couple, the Dallas game was obviously a little crazy, but with the amount of people we put on that O-line, having Leno, having Flowers, having them ball out the way that they did, I got to go with you. I got to give them an A as well. And like you mentioned a couple weeks ago, got to give that coach an A, that offensive line coach getting A. You talk about next man up. This guy, you, here we go.
Four centers.
So are you in agreement? But same with Leno, he gets A too for you.
Oh, yeah. He cost us $5 million. Ron talked about him in the locker room teaching Sam Cosmi. Like, I mean, oh my gosh, that was a huge deal. Like, thank you, Chicago.
Take that. Nate Snell says B+.
Right on with us.
Next along the line, I put this on here. You said it before, and the last one on here, Bobby Mccain. Got it from Miami. What did you get him?
Man, this dude frustrates me.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him a C because he wasn't bad. He wasn't that good. He did have 2 picks in our game against the Giants, including a pick 6. So, hey, but I want a playmaker back there, and I think he's a solid player, but he's not gonna no one's going to be scared to go deep on him. And I want someone that's going to be scared to go deep. So he was a C. He cost us less than $5 million.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So for me, I got to go. I'm going to go B- because of how much, we got him for. And he was on the field. He had those couple interceptions. You talked about that pick 6 in the Giants game. He was able to continue to play on the field. And for what we got him for that situation and the need, because, of all the injuries, about Landon Collins being out for that time and the corner, St. Juice going out and Jackson not playing up the par, having McCain there and having that veteran presence definitely was helpful to us. But like you said, you wanted to see a little bit more. But for the price, I'll go B-.
Yeah.
I'll go on that. So let me ask you this. What is your overall grade for all the free agents from last year?
Well, looking at it saying I have an F, a D, and an F.
Right.
I don't know how strong that A can really balance it. And especially, I'm going to weight these grades because of the fact that, the A for Eric Flowers can't be as weighted as the William Jackson botch or the Curtis Samuel or the Fitz. So I'm going to go D+. I'll go D+. I'm going to hit him hard. It didn't work out because what my concern was the same issues that we had in 2020 happened in 2021. Our offense was terrible. The quarterback, we had at quarterback, we had one wide receiver, and then when Logan Thomas went out, we struggled there. It's like D plus.
Yeah. Nathan says B minus. I'm gonna go C. Fitzpatrick, Curtis Samuel, two of our biggest offseason moves, and neither of them panned out. So I don't think you can go any higher than a C. I definitely want to give credit to that O-line because if we remember, there was somebody that said we need to get as many as possible, and we used every one of them.
You did. The guys that you said that were keeping that got cut, they got brought back and they played. And your boy Keith Ishmael didn't look too bad at times. He had some serviceable parts as a backup.
So look, I got to give credit to the O-line, and I got to give credit to Mccain for staying with it. But like you said, you cannot go any higher than a C minus. I mean, because of the three top guys that you got, William Jackson, Curtis Samuel, Fitzpatrick, none of them panned out at all. William Jackson played the most out of those three and didn't play great when he was in there. So, I got to just even it out at a C, and hopefully we can get some return out of at least two out of the three because, like we talked about, Fitz will be gone.
If we were both teachers at Herndon High School, the students would pick you over me because you're a much nicer grader.
I'm trying, man. I'm positively. New name, new excitement.
Right.
Hopefully, I don't know. No, but we have got to move on because the other thing that we dove into a year ago was our draft. We really, really dove into this, and I honestly, I'm excited about some of these picks. Obviously, the pick I'm not excited about, and we will get to that hopefully quickly. But let's start right off with the 19th pick. We all kind of were iffy about it. From Kentucky, Jamin Davis. What did you think about him, man?
The grade I'm going to give him this year is a D because he was not an impactful player. But I am hopeful for the future because they've already announced that they asked him to play middle linebacker this year. They're moving him to outside linebacker because they just feel like he can be a lot more instinctive out there and do things that he does well. So moving to a different position, hopefully we'll give him a chance to shine more. But I mean, this year you're the first round pick. John Bostic goes down. We're expecting you to do something, and he really wasn't. So I had to kind of go harsh, and I'll give him a D.
Yeah, harsh. That's not harsh. I can give him an F plus. Look, man, for being the 19th pick, we talked about this all offseason, who we wanted to get. Even when you were on the field and looked like you didn't know what was going on, you started to get it eventually, but not enough. You'd be that top pick. I wanted a lot more from you. So I'm grading him a lot harsher. I got to go F plus because I'm trying to have the hope that you have. New name, new leaf, turning it over. Damn, F plus. Yes, Nathan. And that's on a curve. All right, I'm curving up.
He did give him a C plus at first. I guess he started thinking about it a little bit more.
Give to me,
grade him on a curve, he said. yeah.
So, all right, number 2. I'll start with this one. Sam Cosmi. I'm going to give him a B. I thought he played really well this year. He was part of that O-line that worked in it. And I really, you talked to me about this in the beginning of the year about him being, reminding you of the John Jansen type, the big, strong O-lineman and doing his thing. I definitely think he played well for him being a second-round pick that we got. I thought he played very well for us. So I got to go B on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking B. I was like B plus, B. I can't give him a B plus because he did get injured, and some of the stuff they can't prevent. But there at one point we didn't have Sheriff and Cosmi out there, and we were trotting Cornelius Lucas out for like 7 or 8 games, and so now we're talking half the season. So that is concerning. But no, we needed that bookend after releasing Morgan Moses, and that just is going to continue for the Washington Redskins football team, Commanders now for the last 15 years or longer. Number 76, right tackle. That's what you plug in.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yo, real quick, Nathan said, if you could go look back on the draft, would you have traded for the 19th for something? I don't think I think I'm fine with what we did because that was the position we needed. It just didn't pan out the way we wanted it to.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard because so JOK had himself a good season. He really did. But JOK would have played for us the role that Landon Collins did.
Right.
So it's like he had a better season, but he fit with Cleveland in that role that they were able to find where Landon Collins did really well. The other guy that we were looking at hard is Zaven Collins, but he was that outside pass rusher. So the middle linebacker is what we didn't get. I don't know. We probably have to look at other positions of the draft, and I can't think of people off the top of my head. There was Elijah Moore who showed some promise for the Jets. So could we have gone wide receiver instead? Yeah, by all means. Rashad Bateman, that type of stuff. I'd have to look a little bit further. Nate put me on the spot.
Right. Appreciate you joining us, Nathan, hitting us with the questions. Nate, man, I don't know if you've already, but if you can share it in the group chat. I'm on my phone right now, so I can't do all the sharing. I agree. I agree with Cosme.
Do it. This is you. Next one's you.
Just move on, Will.
It is. We've beaten this horse dead. Let's hope year 2 pans out a lot better, because what the F happened to Dyami Brown?
I touted this guy coming out of college. I said he was going to be great. I do think the fact that Curtis Samuel was in, I think that played a major role. I think the fact that Taylor Heineke was in there and he didn't have the practice with Dyami. Maybe Dyami wasn't comfortable, whatever would have you. But I really feel like that injury to Curtis Samuel really played a factor. And once, Heineke came in, I think things were a little dumbed down maybe and not the best. But all that being said, it doesn't matter. He still did not do anything. Yeah. The only highlight I could really remember is a special teams tackle that he made, and I was hooting and hollering. Like, there he is. I see him. But other than that, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Depending on who we bring in at free agency or the draft, Dyami Brown needs to recognize that you need to give up your number. If someone wants number 2, you do not have rights to that anymore based on your past performance. And you got to hope that whoever is our quarterback next year, Russell Wilson, can get him the ball. Because I do think some of the things they wanted to use Dyami for, like deep threats. I mean, you saw the very first play in the Dallas game, and Heineke underthrew the ball. And so let's think positive that we just didn't have the quarterback to exploit what he can do best. And in 2022, he will explode.
Sam Howell. Yes.
Yep.
Well, let's hope for the next year. But the next person on this list very much took up for that. Mr. Benjamin St. Juice. Will, what's your grade for him, man?
Oh, whoops! I skipped ahead. So I'm gonna go C.
Okay.
But if you had asked me this in week 6, I probably would have been B plus A.
Yeah.
I dropped him because he ended up suffering multiple concussions that cost him half of his season, and I'm worried about what does that mean for his longevity, right. And what is his career going to be if you're having already. It starts to make me think about Jordan Reed. But because he was fast tracking to be the stud 3rd round pick that we got, like you said, he was replacing William Jackson, that type of stuff. Now, the only thing that was a positive of BSJ being out, they moved Kendall Fuller back to the outside and out of the slot because Kendall was really struggling at slot, and they thought he could be interchangeable like he had been for us previously, and he wasn't. And when Kendall Fuller got moved to the outside permanently, he started playing better. So there was a little bit of that. So, it's going to change things up for next year. But yeah, he had hit a lot of promise. He got hurt and was out for the rest of the season. I don't know what his future means, so that's why I'm going to give him a C.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Nate. Same thing. Very excited about his progress. Very excited about his promise that, coming in early in the year. But again, best ability is availability. And when he's out, I can't. I mean, this is as high as it can go. And I would have stretched and said, give us a couple more games. I would have said B-. I would have, graded him on a super curve, jumping him up there. But yeah, you got to be on the field, and we definitely missed him later in the year on covering some of those big name receivers that we had to face. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And hey, I said it. I'm going super high for my next guy, John Bates. A. I'm giving him an A because I did not expect anything out of this man. Obviously, we thought Logan Thomas was going to be our guy, but then Logan Thomas was out. Then we had Sprinkle was gone. We had Seals
Jones. Yeah,
Seals Jones. He underperformed. I didn't think Bates was going to be anything outside of a blocking tight end and somebody that came in on special teams. He proved to be a sure-handed receiving tight end. He can block. He can break tackles, do what he had to do. And I maybe need to keep control of the ball. There was that one that could have been a fumble, but then, we got it back against Tampa Bay. But, definitely got to give this man his due because he blew every expectation I had for him out of the water. So I'm going to go give him an A because I like the guy. What you got?
Yeah, well, it makes me think back to why you're so right with Jamin Davis has to be an F because if you're a first-round pick and don't produce, you're going to get graded harshly. And in saying that, if you're a fourth-round pick and you do produce, you're going to get graded even higher. Do you remember draft day?
Yeah.
They announced it, and the three of us went, who the is this? and Ab in particular was like, why are we getting Brevin Jordan? He's out there for Miami. And then Todd McShay got on there and he said, this is a great pick. They're like, this guy is a red zone, first down, sure-handed threat. He's not going to outrun anybody, but if you get him open in space, he's going to bring the ball down. And that's exactly what he did for us. And like you said, I thought, okay, it's going to be a blocking tight end. He's like that Logan Paulson that we had for years. Like, here we go. They're running to the right side. Yeah, Bates is on the right side of the line. This is where, where our offense got so dang predictable. I'm sitting up there in the 400 section of FedEx going, what are we doing? Can we get some creativity out here? I know what we're doing. But no, he became great, and he was so relied upon with all of our tight end injuries. So yeah, no, I'll go B+ because he pressed the living daylights out of me.
Oh yeah, and I definitely want to see how he comes in next year with Logan back and kind of getting into the fold. But I think he'll be a good number 2 tight end, and I'm very eager to see. Very eager to see who does. Moving on, out of I believe Cincinnati, Derek Forrest. What do you think about him?
Oh, you're giving me the tough one. Yes. I see how you did that. Hey, what do you think about this guy? So
debate for them.
Right. He was injured in the beginning of the season. He was drafted to play special teams for us and then develop, and he did that. So he wasn't impactful, but he sort of did his job, his expectations. So I guess I'll give him a C. I'll give him a C. I'll be nice, but he did nothing. He made a couple special teams tackles, and that's kind of like what they perceived him at coming out of college. So I guess since he followed along in suit, I'll give him a C.
Yeah, I'll stick with that too. On the field, he, like he said, he did what we asked him to do. He played special teams. I was excited when I heard his name, but even though I didn't hear it all the time, but he was out there. He did what that pick required him to do. I don't think you can go any higher than a C, and he didn't do so terrible that I got to start dropping him to the D or the F. You know what I mean? And maybe that's because I didn't have such great expectations for this guy. But he did what did what he asked him to do. That was that. So stick with C, I think, just to be fair. And I'll go next, Mr. Ben Cheeseman. Now, this is going to be interesting because we went through three different kickers?
Yeah.
Four. Yeah, 3 different kickers. And, obviously Dustin Hopkins had a lot of the miss issues. Then we had Blewett. And then we had the next guy. So, there's a lot to be, said with the timing and that stuff. And we don't know if those are the reasons why some of those kicks were missed. I personally, he's always going to be judged against the guy that we had in there in that spot for years and had been doing a consistent job. So with that, I gotta go just to see. Like, I can't. He did what he was asked to do, but there were some timing issues and there were some things that weren't necessarily his fault. But kicker, long snapper, and the kicker, holder, and long snapper are all kind of in unison. So I kind of grade them the way I grade kind of the kicking situation, but not that bad because he wasn't kicking it. So I'll give him a C and just kind of stick with that.
Sure. So putting aside the fact that we use a draft pick on a long snapper, I can't fault the man for who selected him and when they selected him. I'm just going to grade his performance, and I'm going to go with the B. There definitely was some issues in the beginning of the year with Hopkins, and I don't know who to blame for that, because I think Hopkins went to San Diego / LA and has done really well. So it makes you wonder, like, well, wait a second here. But Cheese did really well with Joey Sly kicking. Yeah. And I can tell you, I'm giving him a B because I bet the Green Bay Packers wish they had drafted him. Yes. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
And like you said, the fact that, he replaced someone who had been there forever. So there was always going to be the eyes on him, like, whoa, you're replacing Nick Sumberg, who's also a good dude in the community. And I felt that he performed very well. And okay, so we used our 6th-round pick, but we got a long snapper for the next 10 years. All right.
Yeah. Good. Right. So I'm with you on that. Next, moving on to our 6th-round pick, William Bradley King. What do you think about this guy?
Kind of hard to grade this guy. So first off, I gotta hit him a little bit because he didn't make the team. He didn't make the 53. Mm-hmm. He made it later on in the season, and he actually made a couple plays and some pressures. It's like, if you're drafting a 7th-round pick, 6th-round pick, what are you expecting? Are you expecting them to be an everyday starter, or are you expecting them to sit, learn, and flash when they get a chance? And if that's the case, he did that. So I guess I have to give him grade him like I did Forrest, and that's a C.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for 6th round, like you said, he came in when we had a lot of deals with the injuries and COVID and a lot of that stuff. A bunch of times where it was like, oh, William Bradley King is playing in this game, or he's starting, or he's doing this. So, I mean, we didn't expect anything, so the fact that he did do that was solid. He did make a couple plays. I will go B- because, honestly, like you said, he was cut, but at the same time, he worked. He got back on the team, was able to come in and make some contributions. And outside, after Derek Forrest down the list, I'm thinking special teams. Like Cheeseman. I'm thinking you're a special teams guy. I really am not expecting anything from you. But was able to contribute and helped out in that 4-game win streak that we had. So I mean, I'll give him a B- on that. I'm grading on the curve. Trying to be nice. And I'll move on to Shaka Tony. I think I kind of got to go same with that. I mean, I got to go C because I didn't expect him to be able to get in there. He didn't. I'm just going to go C with that because I didn't expect to see these 2 guys in there playing. These were 2 guys that we had kind of talked about on our initial, 53 man and will they make the cut and this and that. He contributed did what he was asked to do. He didn't blow us away, but at the same time, he was on the field with his necessary. So I'm giving him a C. What do you think?
So, yeah, I mean, my grade is going to be a D+ because he did the opposite of Bradley King. He made the roster. He made the 53 out of camp. When he sat his time, which was expected behind Sweat and Sweat Young, and then even James Smith-Williams. But then at one point he started to get some playing time when those guys got hurt, and Ron was like, "Hey, you got to watch this guy. This guy's got some things to him." And then he kind of fell off. And so I think from the fact that he was kind of emerging, showing some speed, and then kind of went away, it's like he tailed off, and so that's why I'm gonna give him a D+.
Yeah, I hear that. I think this is David, right? The news this morning said the short version.
He already said that earlier. We heard you before, buddy.
Nobody's listening to that.
Exactly. I just went, all right, delete.
Yep.
Yeah. But I did read it. Dang it.
Yo, and last but most certainly not least, our running back in undrafted free agent, Mr. Jarrett Patterson. I personally, I got to give this guy a B. Of all the running backs he had, he started off, I believe, 6th on that list, made the final 53 as a 3rd guy with his injury issues and his fumbling issues, McKissick being out. Patterson stepped up, and later in the season, definitely started, making his way, had a couple touchdowns. I got to give him a B, because the fact that he didn't even make the team, the fact that he wasn't even drafted, and we know what he did in college, but for him to come in and fill in a role and ready to play, hometown kid, him and Chase are good buddies, so I loved his progress, and I hopefully only see big things. So I'm gonna give him a B. What you got, Will?
Yeah, I think B's a great grade. I was kind of thinking here, like, how do you grade someone who was undrafted, who made the roster, and then who made an impact? Like, I'm like, do I go as far as high as an A? And so it's like, what were our expectations, and does that factor in? But no, he made some plays. He moved the ball. He showed that he belongs in this league. He belongs on the team. He's got a role. And so that's huge. So I'm going to go B+. I talked myself into it. Like, he did a heck of a job, and I'm glad we got him, and look forward to see what else he can evolve in next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anthony says, "What's good, fellas?"
That's nice.
What's up, Kara? How you doing now? And he said, B+. So there we have it. Those are the draft grades. Will, I'm gonna come to you again. All our draft picks. How did we do after the year's done? How did we do last year?
I'm gonna go harsh. I'm gonna go D+, because our 1st and 3rd round picks that we needed to help us didn't do it. So I can't. I was close to calling it a wash and calling it a C, but besides Sam Cosmi, who really helped us on an every game basis, and John Bates, like you said, did help us out tremendously, but we needed more. We needed more, impact from these guys. So I have to go D+.
Yeah. And I pretty much the same, but a little slight higher C- because of, Cosby did what he was supposed to do as a 2nd pick. I'm with that. But then you have Bates. You have Cheeseman, Bradley King, Shaka Toney, Jarrett Patterson. Some of these other guys that we weren't expecting, they got in to do something, and that helped. And it kind of helped out for the 1st and the 3rd that were garbage. Benjamin St. Juste played great when he played, so I don't want to necessarily penalize him that much for his injury. But I C-, pretty much the same. Because Nathan, I think you said it best. There is potential there.
Yes, there's room for improvement. Absolutely.
Every one of the guys got some kind of action, some kind of PT, and whether it's injury, COVID, or whatever that might have kept them off the field, we still got something from everybody. So we'll see. Yep, said you pick 11th this year. Hopefully you'll draft better.
Fact.
Yeah.
Have to. Like we have to hit. We can't afford to do this 2 years in a row of having marginal impact by our top 4 picks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, hey, with that being said, I mean, let's go into it because, the offseason is here. The free agency's coming up, drafts coming up. What are some quick things? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to dive into the offense, the defense, each individual position group, talk about the things that we need to get, retain, and or get rid of. So we're going to go into that in the coming weeks. But for right now, Will, let's give them just a general overview of what we're kind of looking to do, what we want them to do. Now that we got the name, we can move on. What are we thinking, Will?
I'm going to quote my man, Bruce Allen. We are going to be winning off the field this winter and this spring. So we've got a lot of money to spend. We've got holes that we need to shore up. Ron Rivera has said the pressure is on. It's year 3. This is when you make your improvements. This is where it's put up or shut up time for Ron Rivera. Yeah. He has said it. Quarterback has to be addressed, and they're going to look into everything. And it came out yesterday. The news before the name release, the name leak, was that they're looking to go big. It makes me nervous as all get out as to what are we going to have to trade for someone else to go big. But they're going after the quarterback, and I fully believe that come August of 2022, come July of 2022, we're not going into training camp going, wow, we got this guy named Ryan Fitzpatrick who showed some things. Like, we're going in saying we either have a high draft pick that we're super excited about, or we've got one of the studs, taking snaps. And I don't think them saying we're going big means Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't. And my gosh, I hope I'm right with that.
What up, Delilah?
No, that's not what I'm talking. Delilah, we're coming for Justin Fields. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to get him away from y'all because you got a new coach who didn't draft him. We liked him last year, but y'all paid more than we want. We're coming for Justin Fields.
Let's go.
But no, I'm excited. I do think actually before free agency, we're going to know exactly before free agency what's going on with our quarterback situation. Because I think we're either going to make that big splash of a trade, or we'll kind of have an idea. And the more and more people, the journalists are talking about that, we're going the veteran route. So I think we're going to see that. And from there, then it's going to snowball as to what positions can we fix. I've said it before. We need a middle linebacker to take command. Hear that? To take command of the defense.
Already implemented.
Right. I think we need another wide receiver to give us some weapons. And I want a free safety. And there's a lot of safeties in this free agency. This is littered with wide receiver and free safety in this free agency is like. Like they're talking about Allen Robinson being the 5th or 6th best receiver right now, and he was the number 1 last year before he got taxed. So there's chances to improve your team, and I think they're going to identify the holes and go big.
Yeah, and that's what we need to do. I honestly feel like, look, we've had this year. We went through some things this year. We had a lot of injuries, a lot of that stuff, and hopefully that hit us this year, and we still bonded together and got that 4-game win streak. Unfortunately, we know how the season ended, 1-5. But you're absolutely right. One of the things that we talked about all season long, that middle linebacker spot, we went to go fill it. We didn't get it filled. Then we got hit with injuries, something we could not afford. We have got to shore up that linebacker spot. We got to shore up that middle. I love what my boy, Cole Holcomb. I always tout him. He always does what he needs to do when he's on the field. But I agree that we need to get somebody in that middle linebacker spot. And secondary. That defense, we came into this past year thinking we have a front 4. We have 4, 5, 6 guys that we can put in there, and we're gonna do it. Chase Young and Montez Sweat talking about we're gonna break the tag team sack record and all this, and we bought into that. And we ate crow, all right, because we were talking about it all off season. We need to get something to help them out in the secondary so that it is giving them time to work. on that front. They got to be healthy, but also we need to give them time to work on that O-line and really get into them. So we definitely need to shore that up. And yeah, I'm off the De'Ami Brown bandwagon. De'Ami, you lost me, buddy. We definitely need a for sure wide receiver, somebody that can go up, a la like a Mike Evans, that can go up, body up a smaller corner, catch possessions and catch end zone touchdowns. We need to have that. I'm really excited to see Logan Thomas back. I really want him to get back, and I'm glad he's already been paid. So we already have him there. Let's get him healthy and get him going. And then obviously the elephant in the room, that quarterback situation. Yeah. Definitely want to use that 11th pick, not necessarily to go quarterback, but you know who I'm looking at, Sam Howell. But Kenny Pickett, man, I've heard a lot of the small hands things, but I don't know. I'm interested. Him, Desmond, guys. I've been eager. I can't wait till February 5th is the Reese's Senior Bowl. The combine's coming up. All these, I really want to dive into these and kind of watch and pay attention to see which direction we can go. I do think a vet, if we can get a veteran for the right price at QB, that will play for us, not Ryan Fitzpatrick. That will definitely be huge, but we're going to need to get somebody that is going to stay on the field and that can contribute. And maybe somebody that's going to take the top off the defense. Nathan, no. Jimmy G, no. Again, we've had this conversation. I am very excited to see how this offseason plays out, because I do think that there's a lot of interesting moves we can make and not necessarily be super flashy, but kind of go under the radar, get a couple quick guys, so that when it comes to draft, we can then – oh, my God.
Yes, he's right. He's totally right. Tom Brady is going to come out of retirement to be a commander. It's happening. I was expecting him to show up today.
Right. That's why he's just taking a break. We told him he could take his offseason off. He can come to us, after training camp. He'll be good. All right? Take your time.
We'll take Gronk. You can bring AB. That's fine. Bring your boys. That's all right. We got the cap space.
We're good. But yes, I am absolutely excited about this offseason. This is the time when, like you said, we're off-season superstars. We are champs. So I cannot wait for that. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's kind of where we are. Tune in. So next week we're going to start with the offense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to start with the offense. Started looking at narrowing down the specific positions that we need to touch. Obviously, quarterback, running back was brought up a couple weeks back. Wide receiver, obviously, shore up the O-line, tight ends, this and that. We're going to break that down position group by position group, kind of like we did before with the mocks, 53-man and whatnot, and kind of see where do we go from here. There's potential. There's definitely potential. And I feel like this year, new name, new energy.
Oh, yeah.
Some things. We can change some things.
We're getting the division, buddy. It's coming back.
Here we go.
Take command of the NFC East.
Let's go. I command all y'all NFC East teams to bow down. No, but we have got to get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us. Nathan, Delilah, Tara, who was on here earlier? Tabby was on here, started us off. The catch. No, he was definitely on here. Shout out to the catch, all the things he's got going on. Shout out to my guy Nathan, host of Nathan Sports Talk Podcast. Is that right? It got longer, Nate. I gotta figure it out.
Nate. It's like Big Nate Podcast.
Yeah. And our dear beloved rival, Miss Janae's brother, who joined us. Janae, how did your season end? I don't know if I remember. Can you refresh my memory? Oh, yeah.
To get to the quarterback here, Prescott takes off running the football. Whoa, I don't think this is going to work out.
Well, they'll be able to clock this. They were planning for it. It's down. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, the official gets in the way. The game's over.
Gosh.
The game is over.
I mean, we saw some teams can score with 13 seconds left. They can drive the entire length of the field. I don't know why Dallas can't. So,
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Dallas. What's up? Never get old. It will absolutely never get old. Yo, so hey, check my guy out, Nathan Snell, Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast, Tuesday nights and Friday nights. Ladies and gentlemen, you think we go on a lot? My guy, get on there and he can talk, and he brings you NFL, NBA, WNBA, college, MLB, social issues,
NASCAR,
news and notes,
Olympics,
everything. And I envy you, man, because that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of studying and researching and whatnot.
Yes.
Keep doing what you're doing, Nate, and we appreciate you on here. Our pseudo Washington fan. We don't know.
I'm looking forward to your curling preview for the Olympics coming up here, Nate. I'm expecting big things from you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, hey guys, we appreciated you joining us. We appreciate you being here with us. The new name is here. We are the Commanders. I don't know if that. And there we go. What's funny? Ever since you mentioned that "Hail to the Redskins" is to the tune of "Yes, Jesus Loves Me," I can't get that out of my head.
I sing it every night to my son.
My head. I can't get it out of my head, man. Oh, man. I absolutely love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we am going to have to let you go. You know who it is. It's your boy, Sean Spencer. Earned his finest.
I love it.
Where's Coach Spencer on the back? My guy, the proud papa of two.
Yeah.
And America.
Skin together that I can. eBay
Right.
extraordinaire.
Look, America's secret shopper. Yo, we're so glad you guys were here to join us. We'll definitely talk to you guys next week. Man, hey, peace. Have a good week. And hail to the Commanders, ladies and gentlemen. Hail to the Commanders.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. Here. The lion. New man so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae